Hey, I'm Matt, and today I wanted to make the Spike Factory from Bloons Tower Defense 6. So, to start, I get all of the colors that I'm going to need throughout this, and I start by making all of the different types of grays that are on the Spike Factory. I start with a medium gray, and then I get a light gray and a dark gray. After all three of those colors are done, I start by making the base of the Spike Factory, so the most bare thing, which is out of white clay, and it is a cylinder that is a little shorter on the top than it is at the bottom. After this is shaped and put to the correct height, I use a ball stylus to hollow out the top half of it in order to make it look better, I guess. Then I smooth out the top half of this until it's smooth. Once this is done, I begin to make it in greater detail. I start by getting out a large flat sheet of gray clay, the light gray clay, and I wrap it along the bottom part of the Spike Factory, the cylinder. Then this gets smoothed to look like one piece, and the bottom part gets wrapped around to the bottom to make it look like the bottom is gray. Then, on opposite sides, I get two flattened rectangles of the light gray, and I raise up the line a little bit. After that, I make the two vents that go on top of these raised up areas, and I begin to poke out the vent holes. This is done with another one of my tools, and I made 3 holes here because it had 3 holes. This shape gets refined over time, and then once it is nearly done, I put a sheet of black clay on the back to make it look like there's nothing behind the vent. And this gets copied over to the other side, and again done on the opposite raised up edge. Then, using a very small ball stylus, I indented all of the little missing areas on the vents, all little holes. And then I fill in the top part with a sheet of black clay. This gets cut off at the top and also smoothed in with a ball stylus again. After that, I make the little teeth on the top of the Spike Factory. These are just small rectangles, even smaller than all the other rectangles, and I make 8 of these. After that, I make the yellow clay that is used as the legs of the Spike Factory. This gets cut into 4 even segments and then rounded into the top part of a worm. After that, it gets placed on 4 sides, evenly spaced out apart. Once this is all smoothed in and to the proper size, I make the Spike Factory icon logo thing that's on the side of the Spike Factory. I start by making a circle and cutting it down to the proper size, and after that, I make the nails, the 3 nails on the inside. This is done by making a worm and making it a little bit fatter at the top of it and thinner at the bottom, with a noticeable difference slightly after the very top. This is then done 3 times because there are 3 spikes on this. And then they are all put onto the Spike Factory body. Once this logo is done, I move on to my next step, which is finally putting in those teeth. But first they need to be baked. so that they can hold their shape. This was probably one of the hardest parts of the project because all of the teeth kept just falling out. So, if you fail, don't give up. So all 8 of these get placed in, and then I put a black worm on the inside in order to give them more stability. But it kind of backfired because half of the pieces fell out. But I eventually got it to work, and that gets blended in on the inside. After that is done, I put all of the teeth back onto a more flat position, and I push them down a bit more to get it more close to how it actually is, and then I make the teeth larger by putting some clay on top of where the smaller teeth were. Once this is done, the very top gets covered in a worm of white clay. This gets wrapped around the entire top, but not in the centers, just on the very edge, in order to make sure that it keeps its shape and also looks. This gets blended into all of the sides, except for the very top, where it's only slightly flattened. Once this is blended in, it's finished, and then it needs to be baked. Made it this far, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm literally begging you, and comment while you're at it.